It honestly never gets old. I mean, it's been twice, but open collar. I love it.
It's the accent. That's the best part.
It is. I feel like I'm in New York when I hear that. Live from New York. It's Friday night.
Friday night in Ottawa.
Yeah.
So what you don't do after years and years of having your face covered with hair is get rid of it.
Especially
Because
when it's windy.
yes, that was going to be one of the main points, but the other one is just the constant ridicule you get from the people you spend 90% of your time with.
Right. Yeah. Like, oh, or did you get the baby face? You look so much younger.
No, I got your face looks so full. Or your face looks big.
Oh,
Or
okay.
look at all the white that was hidden underneath.
It's when COVID started. You may have heard there was a pandemic and lockdowns.
No.
Dun, news bulletin.
Here I thought I was just a bad employee. That's why I wasn't working for 2 years.
Yeah, I thought furlough just was about me.
Yeah.
No, I grew a beard for the first time, and I had never grown a beard ever in my life because I always felt that there were like blotches and patches
that's
and
my
whatnot.
problem.
And there were, but then I fought through it, and now I can actually say I can grow a full-on beard. But I found that when my beard was in full effect, I was like chewing on. It's kind of gross, but just kind of playing with the hairs underneath the nose there. So yeah. Huh.
To be young again.
Good old times.
To be young and lockdown.
It's funny you say that because Jade mentioned to me this week that she noticed I have a couple of whites growing in my eyebrow, and I was like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "I love it, a little salt and pepper." I'm like, "I hate it." I've got injuries galore. I don't need the hair to tell me that I'm also old. So
I used to always not shave my head, but I used to always buzz it down, not all the way to the wood, but definitely there's no shag.
Yeah.
And the wife never liked it, so I stopped doing it. So I never once considered the idea that I would be worried about or I even care of like thinning and it going away. But now that's all I think about. I'm like, oh, this is further back than it used to be. Or
that's
no matter what I do, I can see scalpage.
And the second that seed is planted, you can't pull that root out. It's there. No. I mean, your hair root can be pulled out, but that root in your mind can't be pulled out.
I don't want to be Travolta and have like an array of pieces that just to wear on a special occasion.
So in 2005, I was in sport business management here at Algonquin College. Fantastic institution in the city of Ottawa for those that don't live here. And I had internship interviews. And the night before that we were to have the internship interviews, which coincidentally was held at the hockey arena, I was going to shave my head. And I shaved my head, but it wasn't super low. It was always like on a 3 or a 4 or whatnot.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, an argument that I don't remember ensued with Jade. And I was like, you know what? Give me the shaver. I'll do it. And I just go right down the middle.
Nice.
And I look back and I'm like, that's a lot of hair. And I wasn't in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And then I realized that I forgot to put the clip on.
Amazing.
And I went right down the middle. And what was I going to do? Like, I had no choice but to look like
Pod committed at this point.
I was Edward Norton in American History X. And I felt so uncomfortable in those internship interviews where I almost had a script prepped to say like, I am not him. Like, I love all people. Like, I am not.
No one's face is going on a sidewalk for me to bash in with my foot.
There are no smileys. I have never done one. I don't even know what they are. So yeah, that was.
I am not of the Aryan race.
I am not of the Aryan race. That's right. Yeah, that was an embarrassing moment. And of course, it takes like weeks for it to grow back. So you're kind of
feels like months.
Oh yeah, like it felt like half the year.
Yeah.
And so always check your clips.
I have done that.
Check your clips.
I have done I thought this was a 3/4 inch, but it's a 3/8.
I miscalculated.
Yeah.
I miscalculated.
Damn fractions. If only they taught us better in school. So I have that, and then also this week I also had the thing I hate the most. Like I'm very much an introvert. Like I don't like socializing that much outside of like my bubble of people. So I hate being somewhere and randomly running into somebody that I knew from a long time ago, and then they want to have the
this is
catch
gonna
up.
be good.
Just like I would do anything I can to just get out. If I could make a scene and like fake a heart attack or throw something like a smoke bomb and take off, I would do it. But yeah, I would.
And you don't actually disappear. A smoke bomb goes off. Yeah, you're still there.
Just so
like,
we haven't. We had the Parker's family birthday party a couple weeks ago. Now it's his friend's one is on Sunday, so we had to go again for cake number 2. Placed the order. Decided, hey, let's run over to Dollarama because again, we need to get more. I need to have them all. It's Pokemon. Got to collect them all.
Yeah.
So I was with Ashley. We were looking around and stuff. So I was 37 in the toy aisle, and and like Dollarama is very much a maze of aisles. You come in the front, you're in an aisle, and you have to go the way around. Like you're looking for the pellet. So I'm in effectively a corridor heading one way, and then the door to the back room opens, and pulling out a cart of stuff is a girl I went to school with who I instantly locked eyes, and she locked eyes with me, and then I can't go anywhere. So I just, start looking at things and make it seem like I didn't notice. But
Cory, what are you doing looking at the candles?
Yeah, I just need some alone time sometimes, and lavender is my calming scent. Yeah, so she's like, oh, so I blow past because again at this point I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of this store. And then she's like, oh hey, like, looking good, because it was Thursday, so I was dressed to go to work right after. So it was, suit jacket and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, hey, it is you. How's it going? And then
hey,
just kill me now. You remember from the thing at the time?
Yeah. You talked about that thing. We were at the place, and
yeah. 3rd grade, right? Lunchables. So immediately after, she's like, "Oh, if you need anything, let me know." So I blow past. I find her. Like, we have to go now, and then I explain why. And Ashley, first thing at her, Ashley's mouth was like, "Oh, what does she look like? Where is she?" Wants to compare notes.
Of course.
I'm like, "Don't worry. Like, you're not going to see her. She's she's gone. So let's just get out of here." So that was my excursion of running into people I don't like running into.
I have a bone to pick with Dollarama in that you picked up the wave, which is fantastic. Yep. I'm very jealous of you. I went on a Dollarama excursion last Sunday.
Yep.
Dollarama. Yeah, that's right. And I unfortunately did not have any luck, but the one thing that really ticked me off was that for the most part, Dollarama is a lot like Costco. You have the same format, right? You have on the far right side, you have the kitchen, the Ziploc bags, the tin foil, the whatever. On the other end, you have the toys. Well, I went into one and they completely, flipped the script, and I'm in there, like I'm in and out. Like I don't need to get anything else. I just want to look. And I was completely discombobulated, and I was like kind of going on every aisle, and people are, can I help you? I'm looking for the toys. Again, 43-year-old man. It's like, where's your toy section? Where's your toy section?
Oh, so for your son? No.
Yeah. Would you like a gift receipt, sir? Yes.
I do ask for gift receipts
all the time,
just for that. I'm like, yeah, I think they, or I play up that's not for me, but I think they might want one.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I didn't think.
You never know.
Yeah,
It's for someone else.
A gift receipt. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like the people at the Dollarama that's close to me anyway know exactly who I am. Like, hey, Steve, welcome back. Looking for the figures? No, they're not in yet. So.
Yeah, I'm not at the point where I would, here's my number. Call me when they come in.
But you're close.
I'm close because then it would save me gas money.
Yeah, I actually asked someone too. I said, so how's your website? Like, can I go on and check for items and like see if they're in stock? And he said to me, he's like, sir, this is Dollarama. Like, there's like, no, he's like, we don't even know what are in the boxes, which makes sense because when a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I worked at Winners, and it was the same thing. I worked in the warehouse when I was at Winners, and we never knew what we got. We just ripped open the box, itemized it, and then threw it on the floor. So I should have known that going in, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, because they get fed from all other stores, right? Which is why they don't know what they're getting. Or is it just they don't know, like each store doesn't know quantities or products that are being sent to that location? Or is it both?
I have no idea. I mean, I have no idea. Maybe there's some algorithm like there is with social media with Dollarama where it's like this location sells more homeware and this location sells more toys and this location sells more crafts or seasonal or whatever. So let's just flood the market or flood the store with all products falling under that category. Perhaps.
And it's crazy too, because when I first saw them, it was, again, for those listening up, viewing, it's the Marvel Legends. So we talked about it last episode. Retro figures, 3.7 yeah. So I first saw them. They had, I think, all the ones you got. So like Hulk, Sue Storm,
Mr. Wolverine, Fantastic, Venom.
Yeah. So I saw all of them there. Didn't get anything. Mentioned it to Ash because I thought maybe Parker would like them. And then I thought, no, actually, you know what? Get them for myself. And then, since then, I've not seen any of those ones. Just the ones that seem to be at that location hanging around are Wolverine and Mr. Fantastic.
That's the same with ours too.
Then I found another one in Stittsville. Every one that they had was completely different than that store, which is why I bought them up. And there's even more than I wanted to get. I wanted to drop like $100 on them.
There was even more than the ones you got?
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 different ones. I just didn't grab them all. I had Ava; she was getting her second vaccine because she's 5. So I grabbed. I think I got 5 or 6 of them, and there was, I think, 2 or 3 more. Anyway, since then I can't find them anywhere. Within a span less than a week. It was like I saw them on Sunday, and then by the Thursday they were gone.
You found the unicorn. You fell into that like perfect collector storm where it was available.
They must have just like unboxed the box that they didn't know they had.
They got 5, and you picked up all 5. You son of a bitch.
And now they sit. We need a spot to put them.
Yeah, they sit on the floor.
Yeah, figuring out, do I open them and display or just display the boxes? Do I tack them up?
Yeah, I'm running into a serious issue with my figures where I need to actually spend some money on Amazon picking up tiered displays for figures so you can tier them up just to try and save up some space on my shelves. And yeah, I don't know. And it's one of those difficult conversations with the better half. It's like, I'm going to need another shelf. Well, why exactly do you need another shelf? Because I don't need it, but
shelves are space savers. So
it's so much better for the podcast.
Yeah, it's for like. I just have a lot of stuff at the front here that's preventing me from closing the office door.
Yeah,
no space for it.
It's for all of our listener.
Yeah.
Welcome to 103, episode 103.
15 minutes in, we'll do the welcome.
Yeah, wow.
We should probably say, yes, Steve and Cory here again. 103.
I'm Steve.
So before I was coming down, I was watching some of the television, and
The boob tube.
yeah, no, that's later. That's after the show.
Can I say boob tube?
I think so. You're not. It's not like it's not geared towards anybody, so you're just not being offensive.
Right. Okay. Good. I'm good.
So Showcase was one of the channels here in Canada networks. They're constantly playing that Gotham Knights commercial. You seen it?
I haven't. No, I've seen ads for it on social media, but I haven't seen the commercial for it.
So you know, like what the premise is, right? It's a show that's called something that's not related to what the line in the comic says.
So is it
one of those DC take the titles and put it on something else?
And it's just about a bunch of kids, right? Isn't it?
So the premise is this again. Had you known more about it, maybe I should find the trailer. Let's talk amongst yourselves. Actually, you know what? Before we'll go on the Gotham Knights in a second. First, we'll go into this ditty. So Blockbuster,
yes,
is or is not coming back?
It's coming back. It's coming back, baby.
How do you figure it will?
I don't know. So I came across this article. Jade and I, just to set the picture, Jade and I years and years ago, came across this show Sunday morning on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
On Sunday mornings, as it would. So I follow them on Facebook, and there was an article that I saw where it was saying that the Blockbuster website was active. And so now there's speculation on whether or not it's coming back. And I guess a few months ago, there was a tweet saying that Blockbuster is coming back as, and their business model will be as a bank, and their currency will be DVDs. So go and raid your mom's house for all of your old DVDs. Ha ha ha. But then a few days later, the website, blockbuster.com, was live. And so there was all this speculation on what was happening. So can it come back? I don't know. Like many other things, when you know that there's a piece of nostalgia that you can really dig your talons into and really pull on, might be something that they're doing with Blockbuster. So Blockbuster was sold to there's a TV conglomerate in the States. I can't remember what it was, but it was sold for $320 million back in $320 million back in 2011. And now there's this DOA, which is like a non-digitalized autonomous organization, which really means that there's no board of governors, there's no nothing. And they are trying to raise $5 million to buy it back from whoever owns it now. First of all, right away, that tells you in 10 years' time, or just over 10 years' time, it went from being sold for 320. Now they're trying to raise 5 million. So right away, the valuation is not in favor of this being a successful business model.
If I was Kevin O'Leary, for those reasons, I'm out.
They, what is it here? Let me just see, because I have. So it's Dish. Dish was the network that bought it. Okay, Dish. So bought it for 325, and so in 2021, the DAO, so a decentralized autonomous organization, was created with the goal of acquiring Blockbuster from Dish. And what the DAO is it's an entity that has no central governing body, unlike a corporation might have with executives and board of governors and whatnot. And they generally use cryptocurrency within all of their transactions. So they have a goal to raise $5 million to buy Blockbuster from Dish. So what could you do with it? They're saying that they could use it to create an NFT presence, another streaming platform, or a distribution center for theaters, which I think of all three of those, a distribution center for theaters might be the most profitable. I say that term loosely, might be the most viable option. I'm going to be completely honest. I can't make heads or tails of what NFTs are, so I don't know if there is a market for it. If you can school me on that, I'd definitely listen. But then the middle option as a streaming platform, I mean, at this point, they had the opportunity, Blockbuster did, to create a streaming platform back when Netflix was delivering DVDs and Blockbuster was delivering DVDs, and Netflix went with the streaming route and Blockbuster didn't, and we all know what happened shortly thereafter. So it's like, hey, we're going to make up for our past mistakes and do a streaming platform.
Yeah, for streaming, I would say if this was pre-pandemic and their business model was, so Disney Plus exists, Hulu exists, but rather than release your movies like Black Widow or Mulan or something on your streaming service as, premium, you pay extra for it, this would have been like, we'll be the in-between theaters, right?
100%.
$20, you go to blockbuster.com and that's where your premium VOD is.
Yeah.
But now that everyone was doing that during the pandemic and then that they stopped, like you said, what's the point?
Yeah.
Unless you're going to do it that same sort of model when it's between, the theatrical window is this long, and then between that you can rent it for $20 on blockbuster.com, and then it's Disney Plus. But even then, that's a sliver of a window, and how much money are you going to make off that?
But at that point, like, why wouldn't Warner Brothers want to do it on?
Yeah, they'll do it themselves. We'll do it in house.
Yeah, again, so they missed the boat on that, because that would have been a fantastic idea. Like, even if that short window would have been 30 days, say, which I think is still kind of long, but a while ago, if that window was 30 days between it not being in theaters and being available for DVD or streaming or whatever, to provide Blockbuster that opportunity, I think would have been somewhat profitable. All that to say, I think what they're really trying to do is they're really trying to tug on the hearts of nostalgia, which for me anyway, and my wife and you and Ashley and others that are of our age are 100% on board. Like, I if there was a Blockbuster that reopened here in Orleans, where we live in Ottawa, I would 100% take my sons there on a Friday night and say, pick out a movie, and I will dig out the DVD player if I have to. I'll plug in the PS4 to make it a DVD and use that.
We didn't have after the Direcco, whatever, we had no power or Rogers or anything for days. No, we had power. We didn't have the internet or anything.
Yes, I remember that.
I grabbed the DVD player. Luckily, because I have all my stuff on a server in the house. Keep this brief. I don't want people listening. My internal network was working, so my home network was working, so I can access all my backed up files without having the internet. Your
server farm was up and running.
That's right, mining crypto.
Yeah, that's right.
Disney has a 45-day window from when it opens in theaters to Disney Plus.
Okay.
So again, Blockbuster wouldn't really have that much of a gap if it was going to do something like that in our scenario.
So that third option, though, of being that bridge, that distributor for theaters, I'm curious, like, is there an appetite for movie production companies to go through a Blockbuster for theater access versus going directly to the theater? Like, that's how I'm reading that. I don't know if I'm misunderstanding what that idea is, but
yeah, that's kind of like the VOD service, right? But I guess it's more back to the tangible products. When was the last time you were in a Best Buy?
Man.
This whole episode is product placement.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It totally is.
We've mentioned Dollarama, Winners, Blockbuster, Disney Plus.
Just, the listeners don't know and the viewers don't know. We're just raking in the money.
Yeah, Hasbro, Marvel figures. Because if you go in there now, where's the movie, like the DVD section? Even the video game section is, again, another name drop. I took Parker to Toys R Us on Sunday. He's looking for some toys. They don't sell video games there anymore.
No, they got rid of it.
So I said anything, the tangible media on disc form is passe now. So you're gonna go to this Blockbuster to get the digital code?
And that's a concern too. I mean, it's not like fuck. Why would I say it's a concern? Like I have no stake in the game.
Yeah,
but for me, like it's a disappointment. Like what would worry me is I would totally be on board. They open up a Blockbuster down the road. You know, I take the boys to go and grab some popcorn.
Yep.
Go and grab a movie, come back, you know, some candy or whatever, and we enjoy a night. But that will definitely wear off. Come a certain amount of times we do that, right? Like it's the nostalgia is built to be a fleeting experience where and what I mean by that is when something's very nostalgic and it's at the beginning phases of it, you are very entrenched in it, you love it, you embrace it, but it's fleeting. Like it just eventually fades away, and then until the next time, like it's cyclical, right? So
yeah.
Is it a sustaining business model? Not at all. Would I love to see it? Absolutely. Will it happen? I don't think so.
Yeah, like Blockbuster back in the day was like
there's a place to be.
Yeah, your Friday, your weekend was like it's make or break.
Oh man,
on what you find there.
Like so I know that we spoke about this. Like I want to say 20 episodes ago. That's right. We've been around for a while.
Yes,
Jade and I in our younger days, we would go there. Like that would be our Friday tradition. Like when we were dating, and
that's everybody's tradition.
Yeah, like go and pick a movie and just watch it, and yeah, it was awesome. It was just like it was a whole experience, right? And we went there so often that one of the guys that worked there, Sean, I remember his name, gave us like this catalog, and you worked there for a point in time, so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. They had this catalog that would tell us like when movies are coming out and whatnot. So he would kind of be like, hey, okay, come, like this is the sneak peek on when movies are coming.
Yeah, you had the in-depth catalog, or there was a little standee that had like the next month.
No, I'm talking about like a catalog that was in a binder that was under the shelf.
Oh, sorry. Later they end up having the little preview with articles, almost like Blockbuster magazine.
Yeah.
That had the release window in there. Yeah.
I tell you, things will never get back to the way they were in terms of that. But it would really be awesome just for, if there was ever a time where I wanted like a massive like EMT or EMP to just like shut us all down. Yeah. It would be just so I could experience that with the boys, right? But then I guess we couldn't watch the movies, so.
Yeah. I think the closest we got to life before was during the pandemic when they were releasing episodes of shows, not all at once, but it was weekly. Like you had to watch, and so collectively, since nobody could go anywhere and do anything, it was back to appointment television. And then when that was done, you talked to everybody about it.
Yeah.
Rather now it's, did you watch season 5 yet? No. Okay. Well, I guess I can't talk to you. Oh, you watched all of season 5? No, I'm only 3 episodes in. Ah, fuck. I watched the whole season. Like, who am I going to talk to about this?
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, we have to live in just absorb as much content as you possibly can.
Content-driven society.
And that's why Marvel is where it is.
It's true.
Too soon.
It's true. It's true.
Okay. Yeah. So we were talking about Gotham Knights. So I'm having problems with the slide getting the video on. So I'm going to do the other way we do videos, like our commercial breaks. So don't forget to unmute yourself to talk over.
There are 30 other rooms in this place to hook up.
Mom, I swear we were just talking.
Thanks.
Harry, we have to hook together?
Right, sorry.
Already, let's hear.
Somebody broke into the good stuff. Your dad gonna be okay with that?
I don't think he'll miss it. It's a questionable choices. Everybody relax. I got this.
Harvey. Turner, it's your father. He's dead.
Oh, God.
I have to ask you, did you know he was
Already, I can tell you're sold.
You don't have to keep the secret any longer. Must be a relief.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Relief.
My father believed that each of us could become a light and bring a new dawn to Gotham.
Can't imagine what you must be going through. I am gonna find who did this.
Oh, this is terrible.
To wonder who will protect Gotham now that Batman is dead.
We have 3 suspects in custody.
And this is the home of the Arrowverse.
Wait a minute.
Fingerprints on the gun that killed Bruce Wayne.
That's not what happened.
We were paid to break into his office, not kill him.
Okay, I'm
It's like
confused.
a museum had sex with a bank vault.
You're just trying to get us to
Am I right?
My brother
Yeah.
walks.
I'm trying to get the truth. Are you really the Joker's daughter?
I would like to speak with my legal counsel.
And you shouldn't have shot in her kneecap.
Turner, there's one more suspect.
They think I killed my dad because I wanted his money?
Hey, I'm sorry.
Oh, look. It's the Bat Brat.
No, you haven't figured it out? We didn't kill your dad any more than you did.
They don't care if we're innocent. Time to pick a side. What?
What the hell are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to get these cuffs undone and it's not working.
All right, that's enough of that.
So,
We got the gist of it.
like introducing DC's version of the Runaways, I think.
But it's Gotham Knights.
Okay, so never show that again on this podcast, please. But
you had to know. You had to know what.
at first,
What I was
at first, I was like, when the trailer first started, I was like, okay, this is an odd selection for music for this type of show, and
But then you saw CW in the corner.
I saw CW, and then I guess Harvey Dent is now a police detective.
Apparently,
And then he's coming, who I thought was Bruce Wayne. So I initially thought this was like a modernized version of a slightly older Bruce Wayne when his parents died, and it wasn't him coming out of the theater, and it was something else.
yeah.
Only to find out that, a couple scenes later, the Dark Knight hasn't been found out, and just completely confused me. Like, okay, wait, so this isn't Bruce Wayne. Like, who is this guy that's like threw the guy up against the wall and like, I love this, or
So
whatever.
the premise of the series is, in the wake of Bruce Wayne's death, his adopted son Turner Hayes, I'll get into this in a second, forges an unlikely alliance with Harper and Cullen Rowe and criminal Duella when they are all accused of murder, which they didn't commit, by Gotham District Attorney Harvey Dent, which you didn't get from the trailer.
Sorry,
it was like,
did you say Cruella DeVille or
Duella?
Oh, Duella, not Cruella DeVille.
This is, and they worked together to attempt to clear their names and find out who really killed Bruce Wayne.
Oh my God, this is going to last for 7 seasons.
Oh no! So far, horrible reviews and
laying the sarcasm as thick as I possibly can.
It's late. So my first gripe, with aside from it looking terrible, as we know, the deep gallery of Bat family characters, why they had to create a new character to be Bruce Wayne's adopted son when he has a biological one, or any of the other Robins. Although one of the characters is the Robin in this universe is Carrie Kelly's Robin. So maybe that's the reason, but still.
So thank God this won't last longer this season, because if it went 2 seasons, then I guarantee you DC would somehow write this guy into the Bat family in the comics, and it would be a whole thing, and it would be awful. My immediate question, if I was, in the room of, those that decide whether this gets greenlit or not, is who is the target audience?
Well, that's like my thing now with these things. Who are you? If you're going, well, let's rewind back. We had a series mid 2010s, right? Did you watch Gotham?
Watched the first 2 seasons. I feel like I want to watch the rest because I feel like it got better as
it did get better. Okay, I guess this also goes to my point. So when you watched it, and it opens with who murdered the Waynes, and you're like, Joe Chill, we knew that the comic's been around for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do that, are you instantly saying we're not writing this for the comic book fans, we're writing this for a general audience so that they can join us in the ride of figuring out what you as a fan already know?
Yeah.
Reasonable?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Is it not? Then it gets frustrating as someone who knows this, saying, we know who this is. Why is this now a murder mystery? Why can't we just do what we already know and move the story along? So like you said to this, what is the point? Like, who is this for? Like, you're creating new characters. You're taking a title that's used for something else, putting it on this, has nothing to do with what the fans know. And you're making a whole new original story that has not happened in the books.
You know what this would have been better as is to position it as a Gotham PD story, to say that this character, whoever this main character was in the trailer, and I hope to never find out because I will never watch the show.
I've already closed the thing. I don't remember his name.
But maybe position it like, his parents were somehow affected by something that happened with Bruce Wayne, and keep all of the villains, the rogues, like just at an arm's length outside of the realm of this story, and have it be almost about like, what are the impacts of, it should just be a Gotham Central story. Like, it should be, what are the impact, a series about what is the impact of the regular cops, the regular families, the regular citizens in Gotham, outside of Batman and outside of his
so what we're pitching here is we're doing Law and Order, but in Gotham.
That would be amazing.
So it's, you got your Harvey Bullock, basically kind of like what we thought Gotham was going to be. But so you have Harvey Bullock and maybe Jim Gordon as detective, and each week it's different cases they're solving.
For sure.
It's like, Joker's gang, shot up this business again, but then it leads to something.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you could do it in such a way where, like, every episode you see little tidbits of, the Croc, or little tidbits of the Joker or Zaz or whoever, where you don't see a lot of it, but you see tidbits where over the course of many seasons, he struck again. And I remember seasons ago, this happened. And you start to frame that character based off of the tidbits that you learn along the seasons. But really the focus of the story would be those citizens that are impacted, like the food bank mom who, lost her family because the Joker decided, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, just
Scarecrow with his fear toxin and arrows again.
Yeah. And just do that. Like, that would, and have it be, like, this trailer that you showed is pretending to be gripping and serious and like tenseful, like suspenseful and tense, and all of this were really. But if you can create a show where it's true, a la like Law and Order, like you had said, that would be more enticing. But again, it's about who the target audience is. Like, this is for the tweens, which they won't be watching it because they'll be glued to their phone, and they won't be.
Yeah, that's
if
you try to target somebody who is younger than us, who spends all their time on their device, it has to be pretty damn good to get them to put it down.
100%.
Or you're just going to assume they're going to stream it on their phone and watch it. But even then, they're going to have something else going on. I don't feel people watch TV on their phones as much as we're led to believe they do.
I don't.
I think they'll cast from their phone to their TV and do something else on their phone.
See, I even think casting is
overstated,
archaic. Not archaic, maybe that's the wrong word, but I just feel like it's not as widely used as it was maybe like 7 years ago. But it gets you thinking too, like, what is going on with, like, does DC have, this obviously won't fall into the Gunverse because we don't have a name for it yet. But again, this is, an example of just these little offshoot pockets of things that are happening. And it's not like, it's a waste of money. This is a waste of money.
Yeah,
Waste
I feel
of
like
money.
it's content they shot. They agreed to air it. Now they got to burn it off.
And yet they won't. I don't know if this is the same producers or whatnot, but like yet the Batgirl movie that was in the can ready to go is never going to see the light of day. Yet we're going to see this filth.
Yeah.
Or
pretty much.
people will see this filth. I won't, and you won't,
No.
but people will.
We
should do. Sorry, we should do episode 1 review just to lambaste it even more, just for shits and giggles.
I think exactly.
Corey's like, I don't know if I'm on.
No, I was gonna say, so yeah, that's our homework for episode 104.
That's right.
We have to sit through the pilot episode of Gotham Knights, and I swear to God, if one of us is like, it wasn't bad, there's some problems.
Over.
Back to Gotham. Yeah. Once you take away your just knowledge of DC characters and everything, it gets better. Once you just like, well, that didn't happen, that wouldn't have happened, that character doesn't do that, just forget all of that and just live in the world that they created. It's a fun ride the rest of the way.
But I feel like they make it so that that can actually be achieved, right? And again, having only watched the first season or 2 of that series, like they obviously had to lean really heavy into the characters just to get the fan base, just to get the viewership to carry on the show. But then as the show, because it went on for like what, 8-9 seasons, I want to say. Like it went on for quite a while.
You think I would know this?
Yeah,
I have
but it
watched
went on
them
for a
all.
while. But then as the series went on, it really
5 seasons.
Oh, is that it? Really?
100 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is still like 100 episodes.
Yeah,
Still
no,
something to, not shake your head at. So
no,
it was
like, it was early, but they introduced Dollmaker, and we had the Scarface, I think, and ventriloquist that showed up later on. They even were able to, in this world, fit in Solomon Grundy.
Really?
Yeah, and it worked. What they did with it worked.
I just remember, like, I just have a huge crush on whoever that girl is. I can't remember her name, but she's so pretty.
The child that the show started?
No. The love interest of Gordon. What was her name?
Oh, okay. The one that's in Deadpool.
Yes.
That one?
Yes. Very stunning. Very pretty. Anyway.
Just like I'm trying to think. I was thinking the focus for the show was the kids, the one that played Selena, and
No,
the one that played Bruce.
not the kids. Anywho, no, she was very good looking. Have you ever wanted to see a James Bond vehicle in? Sorry, I'm going to transition to something else, if that's all right.
Oh, absolutely. We're done. We're done.
Have you ever wanted to see a James Bond vehicle in real life?
Like a car, or like
one of the many vehicles that they used.
I was never really a car person.
No,
but I know his trademark vehicles, the Aston Martin, right?
Well, cue the national anthem for the United States, because President Joe Biden was in town, and along with him came the Beast. And I don't have any graphics. I'm just gonna have to talk through it. The Beast, which is okay. So, obviously you've seen and may have heard helicopters and planes and whatnot flying around.
I am aware that the President of the United States has entered our country and is in our city.
So he is in our city. It's probably gone by now, but was in it for, I want to say, close to 48 hours. Not 48 hours. A day and a half, we'll say. Okay. 36 hours.
36
we'll
hours.
Go with that. But whenever he is brought from place to place, whether it be in his homeland or abroad, he is in this car called the Beast, as it's affectionately called. This thing is absolutely built to withstand a nuclear war. I saw it on the news today.
Yep.
And they're saying like some of the specs that it brings, and you know what it can do and what it does to protect the president when he's going around being the most protected person in the world. So I'm going to read off a few of the things that this vehicle, keeping in mind it's a Cadillac, has when he's driving, when they are driving the president around. So sure. The beast is loaded with Bond-style gadgets believed to include smoke screens, door handles rigged with 120-volt shocks to ward off attackers. It can also apparently lay down oil slicks for when enemies are chasing them to have them spin out of control. It has a pump-action shotgun, a rocket-powered grenade, night vision equipment, and tear gas that are all said to be inside the vehicle. It weighs in at about 8 to 10 tons. It's made of armor plating so that it can potentially protect itself from bombs. It has a 5-inch thick window that can stop a 44 Magnum bullet.
Yeah.
It's also can be hermetically sealed so that no gas can get in. If you dig down a bit deeper, it also has a full supply of blood that matches the president's blood type in case of an emergency. It also comes equipped with oxygen supply that can be piped directly into the hermetically sealed cabin in the event of a chemical attack, I would say. It can hold 7 people. It basically is like a tank that is on wheels, and it's unbelievable. The tires cannot be punctured. Even if they were punctured, they could travel for like 50 miles without any issue. I would say the biggest thing is that it takes 15 seconds for it to get up to 100 kilometers per hour, 60 miles for our listeners in the States, which is not, the speediest of getaways, but man, oh man, like this thing is like straight out of a Bond movie.
Is it an automatic or manual?
Wow, I don't have that answer right now, but I would imagine this was perfect. I don't know. I'm gonna go with automatic.
Yeah, like if it has wheels that cannot be punctured, why is that not available for every vehicle? Here I am buying new tires, and Joe's driving around with like these be-all end-all wheels. Like, it's crazy.
And just glides right over it, right?
Yeah,
so.
And shooting out oil slicks? What is he trying to get away from the Wile E. Coyote?
I'm going to have to reach out to my brother-in-law because at one point in his career, he's a mechanic. He worked on retrofitting vehicles for diplomats and whatnot. So installing like bulletproof glasses, like redoing the chassis for protection and whatnot. So I'll have to ask him and see if he has any inside info. I probably should have done that ahead of the episode.
Well,
what can you do though?
We'll circle back.
But yeah, President Joe Biden didn't have a poutine while this year, son of a bitch. But he did say that the Leafs suck and that they weren't his favorite team. So that in and of itself was a success. Who cares about what's going on in all of their country to country issues and whatnot? He came to Parliament and he said the Leafs suck. So for me, it's a success. This trip is a full-on success.
It's all downhill from there, eh?
It is, yeah.
Like, what else could have been said, right, for a hockey nation other than the Leafs suck or don't like the Leafs?
Yeah, fair enough. But the fact that he said it in Parliament is amazing. Like, there is zero love lost for that team.
And I am certain pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. But then you know what? Go home. Go back to Toronto.
But what if they already aren't trying to watch the Toronto news?
Yeah, they don't care about everything. Is so centralized for them. Everything, the whole world is that bubble. Everything outside of that bubble, it's not affecting them. So anyway, yeah, it was good. Good old visit by Joey B.
Joe Bides.
The Bides. He does kind of look like a robot though when he walks. It's a bit not to get political and not to go down that hole, but just kind of walks around very like he has a sling, like myself. But,
oh, you know a thing or two.
Yeah, he's just 40 years older than me, so I have that on him.
Yes, youth-ish.
Yeah.
So, Shazam 2 is not doing well in the box office.
It's not.
So, the director, David F. Sandberg, is not going to be doing superhero movies anytime soon because of that.
Nor does he
And,
care.
well, when you're making big budget movies and they don't do well, the blame starts going to you. So then you just, I guess, decide, I'm out. I'm not going to deal with this nonsense anymore.
And then he had said, he's like, well, you know what? Whatever. I got paid in full before it even came out. So I think he's taking the position
That was
where,
my
like,
next,
you know what?
my next thing.
Yeah.
I got my bank, and I'm outie.
Now it makes you wonder, like, was he paid in full because it was under the assumption that it was going to be released 2 years ago?
Probably.
So I mean, at that point, like, whose fault is it? Like he was paid for it, assuming it was going to be coming out in 2021, but it didn't, and now he's just obliged to finish it off. And like, again, the risk with that is if that were the case, like maybe he comes into it and it's just very blasé about it.
Possibly. Like if you're also like, no longer contractually obligated to the studio anymore, and like you got your money, you did your job, you're free and clear, I guess, yeah, you can have the blasé attitude.
This is the risk, though, with what's going on with DC right now, is that because there is the big shuffle, movies that are in the can are being worked on, directors that are involved or not involved. If there's no future plan for them, like, what skin do they have into the game? Like, they just don't give a fuck and say, oh yeah, well, why would I care about the results of Shazam 2 knowing that it has no part in the next 10 years of the studio's plans, right?
I care about when Shazam 2 when there's no Shazam 3.
Yeah, or that, yeah, even that. Just trying to find out, like, what else did he direct? He Lights Out, Annabelle. Okay. So he directed the first one too. Did he direct the first one, really?
Yeah, because I believe that's what the still is from.
Okay.
I don't, unless there was a scene in number 2 where they're in a convenience store.
Oh yeah, that's a convenience store. Okay. Yeah, maybe it's kind of like Guggenheim last week, right? Like where he's just a bit miffed, and now you have Sandberg, and there's going to be others where James Gunn's just going to have to.
The common thread in this is James Gunn.
He's just going to have to do damage control and just going to have to take a lot of shit to get through the path for where he wants it to go. And I think every time you see something like this come up where you have a director that's disgruntled, you have actors that are disgruntled, you have a fan base that's disgruntled, it proves more and more that James Gunn is going to have to make sure that what he has planned out is going to work. Because if it doesn't, fan base is just going to put up with it again and bitch about it 5 years from now when the next plan happens. I say that facetiously.
Well, I just feel like you're going to run in, like, you're taking a filmmaker and fan and putting him in charge of his studio. Like, whereas you had Kevin Feige running Marvel, who was a producer first and a fan and already working in-house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They, and in other news, I guess, with Shazam, I guess the second movie is going to be available for streaming on April 17th.
That's a short turnaround.
Yeah. Which is, it's unfortunate. It really is. Like,
Zachary Levi is now begging people to go see it. He says this was not marketed well. It's a good family film. There's not really family films going out right now, so you take the kids and go see Shazam 2.
That's a good point, though. Did you see anybody from that movie go out and do any pressers at all for?
Just him. I saw him and it's him and I think Lucy Liu.
Oh, Lucy Liu, yeah, and maybe Helen Mirren.
But only on like the morning shows, like the Good Morning America.
Yeah.
But not like it was like blink and you miss it type things, right? You know, first thing in the morning, you know, like late night show appearances and stuff like that.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Here the other Shazam news. The feud.
Yeah. And
so
it makes me.
Dwayne Johnson appears to not be as nice as everyone assumed he was, or he's just very much into Black Adam that he had to control it all.
Right. And
because
so
apparently he was meddling and canceling cameos and different credit scenes and shit.
So it makes me wonder, like, how much. Like, was he an asshole because he had tried for 15 years to get the movie made and it turned him into an asshole to say, like, no, like, we're finally at the point of it being made. If it's not my vision, it's no vision at all. Or is he just like an asshole and he's one of those actors that on the outside, it's, you know, oh, we love this guy. But behind the scenes, he's just, because I've also heard a lot of reports where he's just a very friendly person, very nice person, working with, like, talking, speaking with people on set that aren't the actors, but like the people that make the movie.
Yeah.
So I find it very hard to believe that he is an asshole.
I think you're right on both accounts. I think it's a series of being so involved in getting that character made for so long.
Right.
Having a hand in like the production of it. And I think box office receipts over the past decade of movies have just built him up so big that, well, maybe not fully intentional, or maybe he wasn't like aware of it. The ego took over.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there was also rumors of him basically just, fuck this, I am running this. I like the Henry Cavill cameo. He basically kind of it comes across as he was like, oh, Henry's Superman, he's gonna be my Superman, we're doing this, fuck y'all. And then there was also reports of him like working on stuff before James Gunn took over.
So let me ask you,
kind of trying to, you know, let's shape the DCU around Black Adam and Superman. And then now we got word that Shazam was supposed to have a cameo at the end of Black Adam, or vice versa, and he said that because he apparently hates the character Shazam and wants to keep Black Adam away from. Are
you kidding me? That
I know.
make any sense?
You couldn't have two characters more tied together. Yeah,
it's the yin to the yang. It's the Yoda to the Palpatine. It's the anyway. So
imagine this like Keaton back in '89. You know what? I don't like the Joker.
Yeah. Let's go with Egghead instead. Like, no,
dude,
it's not gonna happen.
Nick Cage wants to play Egghead. I'd watch that.
Yeah. Okay, but listen, like, okay, so I know your feelings about the Shazam movies and whatnot, but remove that for a second.
I haven't talked about the first one.
I know, but let's remove that for a second.
Removed.
Pertinent to the character of Black Adam. Would the cameo at the end of the movie been better served if it was Superman or Shazam based off of the character of Black Adam? Like, which character would have been better for that movie trilogy based off of the character of Black Adam? Would it have been Superman or would it have been Shazam?
Shazam.
100%.
It's like the end of
100%.
Batman Begins. You're not gonna flip over a card and it's fucking. I can't. Like,
it's like Green Lantern. It's like Green Lantern. We're not gonna do Sinestro, but instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a Mongol. It's like, oh, like what the no. I think there's no correlation between the two, and I just like
Batman flipping over an evidence bag and it's Captain Boomerang's boomerang.
Yeah, 100%. And like the fact that I didn't know until you just said it now that The Rock said that he hated the Shazam character. Well, it's like, where the fuck have you been for the last 15 years? Like, what character have you been developing? What stories have you been reading? Like Black Adam was created because of Shazam.
Yeah.
Like let's not get that twisted for a second. Like Black Adam, the character that you love so much and spent so much time in, trying to bring it to life, is only there because of Shazam. And for you to say that you don't like it, like I kind of, not that I take personal offense, but I'm just like, come on, man. Like that's a bit idiotic to say.
And then, like you said, to have the Superman cameo, it's almost, to me, it's like I'm playing the villain to this guy, so this guy's going to beat me. But if I play the anti-hero and go up against the biggest hero, I don't look so small.
Yeah, you know what it says to me now that we're talking through it? It says that The Rock was like, prior to this movie being made, Black Adam, the strongest character in the DC universe was Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? Now I'm going to challenge Superman.
Yep.
And granted, there is a time and place for that in the story.
Yeah.
But it's not that point. Like it's not then. Like there is a point for them to meet for sure. Like 100%. Like there is an argument to be made there, but you're basically just saying potentially, well, I'm the strongest, and people have said that Man of Steel and BVS and everything else, like Justice League, well, Superman is the strongest. Well, let's bring him in and let's see where this goes. Like, no, you should have just kept loyal to the Shazamiverse. I just made that. I don't know. But just keep real to that and just bring in Shazam. I think that would have been more epic. Like I'm looking at this right now, and like this is the second, for those that aren't looking, like this is the second appearance where it's Shazam and it's Black Adam.
And Black Adam had hair.
And he had hair, that's right. And it's the yin and yang. Like they belong together. Right? So anyway.
Yeah, it almost would have been better served to have Shazam battle Black Adam, get defeated or whatever, and then go into a Black Adam movie where he's, whatever this black movie was, and then come across Superman just as like an ego test rather than no ties and then just go headfirst into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you said, to the point, like not reading the character. It's almost as if someone picked up Venom when it was the anti-hero Venom, where it's Flash Thompson and not Eddie Brock. And not knowing, you came from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's just, he's in the military and this is Venom and he's a good guy. And, which is kind of why I didn't understand the Venom movies, without the integration to Spider-Man. Which probably would explain why he jumps from wall to wall rather than web swing.
That's true. I never even thought about that. Yeah.
He still shoots stuff, but
doesn't swing.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't learned it yet. He's not a spider.
He's not a swinger. Not a swinger.
But he eats brains.
It's gross.
God.
Tell you.
Quick Marvel update before we I heard some news that you're gonna enjoy. And not really. With these delays, going back to our story last week, there's talk now that Secret Wars will not hit the screens until 2028.
2028?
That's the latest rumor. And possibly being split into two movies. You're welcome. Back to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Moana.
At what point?
Before I said 2028.
10,000%. That sound effect is exactly how I'm feeling right now. I'm at a loss. I don't know. Like, what you feel like? What do you want from me? Like at this point, I don't know. You got
want quality, not quantity.
I know, but then you go through all of these D3s and you go through all these San Diego Comic Cons and you announce all these shows and you say this is like, and they always have the splash picture of all the logos of the movies and the TV shows and the timeline.
Well, that's why. That's why they're doing this, because they did all that.
Yeah, and then they just blow it all up. But it worked perfectly fine for the first 3 phases where like you could have a cohesive story and it worked out perfectly. But now it's like I'm seeing set photos from last year of Secret Invasion, yet I'm not going to see it for 5 years from now. Like what is going on? Like seriously, what the fuck is going on? What is going on?
Bob Iger's back, and he's fixing the ship. So yeah, like I think they said the only thing now that is not delayed is Guardians because they're ready to lock picture, and that
Because
comes out
it's
in May.
already canned, like it's ready to go. But then, okay, so what's the next one that's coming out? Like, honestly,
Well, they pushed the Marvels to November. If that's still happening, I don't know.
sure. What 2029?
No, this year.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, no, I doubt
Hey,
it.
let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, I think in terms of TV, what was supposed to be spring this year, Secret Invasion, I think might be moved later this year or beginning of next.
It's so disappointing. For me personally, like Secret Invasion, like if it was anything like the comic story, the event from the comics, it was one of my favorite events, and it's one of the best ones. If you have not read it, do yourself a favor and read it because it's amazing. And that's mainly the reason why. It wasn't because I was trying to tie the thread between Guardians of the Galaxy and what's happening down the road with Phase 5. Like I didn't care about that. For me, it was just I wanted to see that story come to life. And for it to go to 2028, I think you said, or 2029.
No, that's Secret Wars, the movie. Secret Invasion, the series, is just delayed to coming soon.
Okay, sorry, I got worked up then because
Too many secrets.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Secret Wars, like, come on.
Fair enough.
That's where everybody's coming in.
I'm okay with that though because you know what, it needs
has to be done right.
It needs to be built up, and I thought I was hearing Secret Invasion, so I was a bit miffed about like what the hell is going on here.
No, you're all right.
So I feel like it's almost they are not running this film franchise, this film universe as a sports organization where many sports organizations rebuild on the fly. You know,
Yes.
they keep their key players and like they still stay somewhat competitive and they just rebuild, and sometimes they're successful and sometimes it's not, whatever. And then there's just a complete teardown. And I feel like this is a complete teardown. And
It seems that way.
what's that?
It does seem that way.
Yeah, it's just like and was it all driven by one bad phase where the masses came out and said this was absolute shit? And they got caught up in it, and they're like, "Oh my god, we need to rethink this. Let's just boil it all down and rebuild it." Whereas what they probably should have done was,
you had one bad series, and then you thought, okay, well, we're gonna right the ship here with Ant-Man, and then that was just as bad, and then the panic button got pushed.
I would think though that you would set yourself up with contingencies to say if in the event that you need to hit that panic button, you do so with properties that are 4 properties out, you know, and not necessarily the next or that's a couple down, if that makes sense. Like I feel like they are hitting the panic button because they talked about all of these TV series that are being delayed and like a bunch of different shows and whatnot that are being delayed, and like there's no timetable for them coming out and whatnot, where you kind of need to set yourself up with a bit of a buffer where if you feel it's not going in the direction that it's going, you still have a couple of properties that will allow you to right the ship. But if it gets to a point where it's not corrected by a certain property, then you hit the panic button. Whereas what they're doing, it's like, okay, Ant-Man, you know, Quantumania didn't hit the mark. Let's hit the panic button and blow everything up. And I think honestly, what it comes down to is they were riding fucking high on the successes of every movie that they had for 28 movies straight, not like thinking that they were invincible. And when it actually kind of hit them to say, like, you know what, there is a chink in our armor, and there is something that we can do wrong, and we can feel the backlash of the people that spend $1 billion on a movie. It hit them, and they didn't know what to do. They panicked.
I'm gonna ask you this. Now I'm gonna put in honor of Joe visiting. I'm gonna put the average American man ideology thinking here and say, do you, and this is not going to be PC correct, feel as though this is toxic masculinity and everyone's jumping ship because the bulk of the characters now are female? Look at Phase 1. You had Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Hawkeye, Thor, Black Widow. Now we have, of the core that's remaining, Ant-Man, Wasp, Cassie. 3 Marvels are coming. The Mandalorian, the Mandarin is, or Ten Rings leader is now Shang-Chi's sister. We had Mighty Thor.
She's dead.
Well, we still had a movie, and look how that movie turned out. And Black Panther.
Yeah, you bring up a good point.
Oh, so for male representation in the superhero movies, you have Doctor Strange, and that's the only continuing franchise.
Well, I mean, do we know what's going to happen from Guardians? Peter Quill, Rocket, Groot, Drax. Are they done after this movie?
Well, I know Batista said he is, so whether his character lives on is played by somebody else, different story. There's a lot of controversy.
Spider-Man.
Who? Who are you talking about?
Spider-Man? Yeah, well, there's talk about him coming back for a 4th movie, no?
I remember some person, and then my mind seems to have gone blank after
you got
or something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, your memory just got wiped.
Yeah, okay, we'll take Spider-Man.
I think that's potentially could be a good point. But it's not a valid reason for Marvel. I think
it's
like
not
at the end of the day,
we also had a time where Iron Man 3's main villain was going to be female until they said we can't sell toys. Boys are not going to buy girl toys.
Who was the main villain from Iron Man 3?
Fucking whatever the scientist Tony hooks up at the beginning. She can't remember her name. She gets killed off.
Oh, the Asian scientist?
No. That's. Hold on, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, so I think that.
Yeah, so brought to you by Google.
I honestly, I think it goes beyond that. I think it just goes like from the stories, and you missed one.
Rebecca Hall played Maya Hansen. She was a Hansen. Maya Hansen.
I don't remember Maya Hansen at all.
Yeah, she was like the henchman for Aldrich.
Oh, okay, for AIM.
Yeah. Killian. Aldrich Killian.
I forgot about She-Hulk. I forgot about She-Hulk too.
I didn't forget.
No, yeah. I just did not. I did not include.
Like I said, we both were agreed. It had potential when it started.
Yeah, it did.
And then they swerved with Wrecking Crew, and then just twerking and.
I just like
Moon Knight. Moon Knight's another one.
And sorry, I'm just going to say this as well, that you have a catalog of extremely talented comic book writers that are so well trained and well versed and have experience in writing a long, cohesive, multi-volume story involving many characters doing crossovers that you could lean on to hire to say, you know what? Let's use you and your expertise with your knowledge of the characters in the universe to build out this story. Hey, you might have even written a story or two on what we're asking, but instead you're nickel and diming some people for like Miss Marvel. I think it was, not Joe Casey? I forget who the creator of Miss Marvel is, but he was nickel and dimed for when they made the TV show. And like you could have, if you just like listen, you were making $1 billion per property on average. You could like fork out some dough to the creators of the characters and say, hey, on top of that, let's bring you on and let's get you to co-write or at least plot out the next, phase of our, and get them a supplemental income. Because listen, comics, it's not, comic book writers, comic book artists, they're not making a ton of money based off of what they're doing in that industry. They're making artists, I think, have it a bit more easier with being able to sell original art and like being able to, do sketches and whatnot. But writers, they really don't. Like they got to rely on picking up that next gig to write a story or picking up, getting accreditation in a movie for a character that they've used.
It seems like because like you're getting paid to play with somebody else's toys, right?
Yeah.
And if you're lucky enough, you get to create a character that will live on. Like, when was the last time you watched the Flash series? Now that we're ending this year,
season 7. So I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, not the Flash. Sorry, it's Superman and Lois. Superman and Lois this season introduced as one of the villains, Automatopoeia. Kevin Smith created it on his run of Green Arrow.
Yeah, I was gonna say I recognize that name.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Automatopoeia.
Like him, like you got to write Green Arrow, created a character, and now the character.
Yes.
Is living on.
He had a weird mask. I remember it was like
it's black. It's got like almost like a bullseye on it, like a swirl.
Yeah, that's right. Pulling it up right now.
Yep.
Interesting. But did he get any,
I forgot when I saw it because it was just one of those things at the end. It's like, oh shit, I should have looked at the credits and see if he got credited as creator of that character. Because he used it again when he did 2 runs on Batman that he was doing. Cacophony and Winding Gyre.
It's a shame what's going on with Marvel. It really is. And for years and years and years, the talk has been like, when are we going to hit that point, right? When are we going to hit that point where the genre is just plateaued, right? And I feel that with the shit show that is DC for the last number of years, and what's happening with Marvel, are we at that point where we're kind of on the back nine of superhero properties? It's unfortunate, but I feel like every week there seems to be a story that comes out and says, oh, we're delaying this, or there's no timetable, or there's a dispute here or dispute there, or they're failing box office numbers, not meeting anticipated results, that kind of thing. So
well, for some people it's fun to watch the
world burn,
the legends fall, right?
Yeah.
Or watch
the world burn. Or what is it that Alfred says? Some people just want to watch the world burn. That was a terrible Michael.
No, but it makes me want to watch the movie now.
I watched it a couple of weeks ago.
All
great.
The Nolan trilogy, or just the Dark Knight?
Just the Dark Knight. Actually, you know what? I don't remember. I mean, I remember what the Dark Knight Rises was about, but I haven't seen it since it came out. So
Dark Knight Rises, if you watch it now, for what it is, it's a good movie. It's nothing will top the Dark Knight. It just won't.
No, it's a cinematic achievement.
But yeah, like fucking plot holes you can drive a Batwing through. But no, like, but it does what it needed to do. And wraps up. Like it's unfortunate that they decided to take the route of just completely omitting the Joker from it.
Mm-hmm. I never thought about that.
If they just a reference, I know like the belief was if we reference him at all, it would take people out of the movie. I don't think so, but I can only speak for myself. I don't think if someone were to mention it, it would take me out of it. But yeah, just the complete omission, I think, leaves a big glaring hole, especially for what they established that character to be.
But I think the reason why is that Christopher Nolan purposely siloed that trilogy into 3 separate types of movies, where the first movie was a strictly superhero movie. The second movie was a strictly suspense movie, like crime noir type movie, and then the third movie was a wartime disaster movie, and it was just a very clear line that separated each of those movies in the trilogy.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it makes a good point. Like he was so instrumental into that trilogy that for them to make no reference, even if it be subtle, like even if there was a reference of a card in the background or whatever the case might be, like for them to not make a reference. Yeah, I agree with you.
Because it is the Joker, right? Like it's just
just even like that eerie music that was playing when they're like when the very opening scene when they're robbing the bank, like just that on the edge of your seat from minute one right up until it was over.
I also think Michael Caine, like we could probably have a whole fucking pod or separate or pod or
episode.
3 or a whole series of episodes just talking about those movies, but I don't think you're going to top Michael Caine as Alfred. I think of all the movies that they've had of Batman, it's the only one where you just, because I guess he's such a strong actor, that you can sense his love and caring for Bruce in almost every scene, even when it doesn't call for it. You can just feel it.
Oh, when in the second movie, The Dark Knight, when he has like the bunker as his Batcave, and you see him first going in and like bringing him tea, and he's just walking, and that's it.
Yeah.
The only other Alfred would be the one from the '89, but it's that for me is only because it's nostalgic and it's like very like he's that campy.
And he did the Diet Coke commercial at the start of the VHS.
Oh yes.
I wish I would have thought of it. Next, that'll be our commercial break next episode. I'll dial that one up.
Yeah, do that for sure, 100%. But yeah, you're right. I think he might be the best Alfred.
Because I think we said that we talked about the Batman. We didn't get those scenes between Alfred and Bruce. Really, it was like one.
I don't even remember who was Alfred in that movie, and that said that's got to say something. Like he didn't stick out. So who was he? Like who played him? Was it Gary Oldman? No.
Oh
my God! We were just failing on.
We know all the stores and
that's right. But that just proves it right there. Is that it's
no? I know who it is, but you think I remember his name? Like usually we're fucking up names, not forgetting them.
No, it wasn't. Who was it? It was. I don't remember.
Exactly. It's exactly who you think it is. It's Andy Serkis.
Oh, okay.
Gollum.
See, even that, like, he doesn't seem old and wise as to what
because it was
Alfred,
a young Batman.
Fair enough, but even still, like I think of Andy Serkis as like, he's not my Alfred.
Motion capture.
He's not my Alfred.
Those fucking movies, those 8 movies, he's amazing as Caesar. Even though you can't see him.
He played Caesar?
Yeah, he did the motion capture for Caesar and the voice.
For all of the movies.
For the Rise, Dawn, and War of.
Interesting. Okay. I only saw the first one.
You blew it up. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Right. So, Shazam. Before we wrap up.
Hold on. Are you introducing the new segment now or later?
We'll do it after. So I'll do this and then we'll. Okay. So since it's kind of introducing in a way, as in we've talked about it. So I did my homework. Can we just
if you have the sound effect, can you do a cheering sound effect for the fact that you had watched Shazam? If you have it. Survey says.
I don't have that one.
Damn it. Not that survey says, but survey says that there's a cheers sound effect.
Like the cheers as in
just any generic cheers? Like cheers. No, just cheers that you've watched the movie.
Okay. So let's take 2. We'll use take 2. So we are discussing.
Let's restart the whole podcast.
We were welcome to episode 103 of Open Caller. I'm Cory Willis. This is Tim McCoy. We over the plethora of episodes we've done together, we've always talked about something that you have either not seen, or in this case of a DC Universe movie, I have not watched. So we've always said we need to watch it by the next time. So we were going to introduce a segment where do your homework. So this week, I decided to sit down and watch Shazam. I don't know how long it's going. Okay, son.
Keeps going because they're happy. The audience is happy. The audience has spoken, Corey.
So aside from when Billy becomes Shazam and they have like not a montage. Well, they do have a montage in it, but basically all the scenes where it's effectively Josh Baskin and his friend dealing with the fact that now he's an adult. I thought the rest was kind of just mediocre at best. Outside of those, I didn't find the melodrama of Billy finding his mom all that compelling, because I kind of felt like this is where it was going. And then the little scene where they have the interaction could have been, I think, a bit longer.
Like in the hallway of the hotel.
Yeah, I understand like the idea of she's being rushed because husband or whatever's trying to get her back in there. And then like Mark Strong. Can we put Mark Strong in a movie, a superhero movie where he's the villain and actually can
make it count?
Make it count. Like he was so good as Sinestro. That was the one bright spot of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
But then they just obviously the movie was such shit they didn't do a second one. And then having him just mid credits puts the green ring on the other ring on for no other reason than he's going to be bad in the next one.
This might be up there as the worst robbery in all of superhero movies.
Yeah, and then ghost villain, smoke villains. Like I didn't like Galactus and Rise of the Silver Surfer being just a cloud. Parallax and Green Lantern.
Yeah. But did you not find, like, just going back to the scene with the mom in the apartment hallway there, did you not just feel like that it lent itself to solidifying Billy as part of that family? And
I understood where they're going, but I felt if they would have had maybe a bit more of him looking rather than he's looking for his mom, sees one, goes to a Batson house and it's not her. And then you see like the list or hear how many different families he's looked up. Maybe a bit more of that would have helped a bit more. But seeing the one miss on who his mom is, and then now he's in this home and they're all nice to him. And then he has one or two scenes at the school. He helps the brother with those dicks with the truck, which I think like what, you can just park on the sidewalk and that's their whole shtick. We drive this truck up onto the sidewalk.
Apparently in Philadelphia, you can get a house that has 16 bedrooms and
fucking huge house
5 bathrooms.
And didn't look like they worked.
Massive. Yeah, like
they just
what kind of
rake
job
it in
do
the
they
state money, to be foster parents.
What kind of job do they have? So here's one thing too that I feel like you might have missed out on is that obviously that the Shazam was around. You had first myself who didn't see that coming. He bestowed the powers upon his family to give them Shazam powers and for them to become the family. In that moment, seeing it for the first time, not knowing it was happening, was pretty freaking cool. We didn't expect it.
Right.
But then also in terms of like I found that movie to be like Deadpool was hilarious because it was R-rated. It was, racy jokes, timely jokes that took a twist on traditional superhero movies, which was hilarious. And I found like this one was almost the same thing, but just on a more friendlier tone. And I appreciated that. Like the scene where he was in the store and didn't really know what his powers were, but accidentally stopped a robbery, or even in the end when he's fighting when he's in the sky with Mark Strong and he's talking and he's like, wow, like I can't hear you. I found that that was a very clever moment. And so all those small things for me added up to it being a good movie because it was those small things that were clever. Like in other movies, you'd see the situation with Mark Strong in the sky and Billy on the other side, and they'd be yelling at each other. But in this one, it was the first time we actually saw Shazam be like, "Well,
yeah,
like I can't, like
seeing, yeah, like the reality of the
almost
situation,
exactly,
right?
like, almost
Like this would never
yeah.
happen. Like, we're clearly hundreds
Yeah.
of feet away from each other. You would never hear, because they always talk in that just normal register, and the expectation is that's good enough. I can hear you across like in a big city through towers and
20 stories up with wind going and
yeah,
you know,
traffic below.
100%. And I think like, so for me, it was all those small little pieces that totaled up to it being like, you know what, it was a good movie. Like, sure, there were some scenes that were just like, you know, like when Mark Strong and his dad, when he walked into his dad's office and like he got the 7 sins to like, you know, clear out the room. Like it was just like, it was, some of the scenes were just a bit much, but
yeah, that would also seem like for the rest of the movie that didn't fit the tone.
No, it 100% it didn't.
Like even though you don't see anything, it's just like hearing the screams and like the people banging on the glass to get out, and then you know they're getting all murdered behind there.
Yeah, it was a breakdown in the tonal play of the movie. 100% it was, because
like,
even
do we go Zack Snyder and Snyderverse, or do we try to do our own thing?
And then when you go to the third act of the movie, when they're fighting at the fairground, it's kind of a combination of both. It's a combination of the light side, and it's a combination of trying to be scary and trying to be, you know, spooky and whatnot with the ghost. So yeah, I can see that for sure.
Everybody wants to be dark, right?
But I think if you went into that movie with, you know, little to no expectations, it was a good movie. Like it was fun hearted. And I think on top of it as well, like that came out when, I want to say like it was around Justice League either just came out or was about to come out, and there's controversy on what was happening with that whole universe, where this just plopped up and was like, hey, we've got a movie, and you know, enjoy it for what it is. And it was just refreshing, I guess, which I feel like almost is what we need with Marvel. We just need that movie that comes out and just is refreshing. And God, I hope it's not Daredevil 3, but it might be. It might be.
See if I can see how long ago it was, because I do remember when it got talked about.
I think it was 2018 or 2019.
Vishal's review of it came on episode 41 of this podcast on April 18th of 2019. He had seen it. I had not.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you remember, was he a fan of it when
Yeah, he liked it. He obviously, the big references is what everybody compared it to.
Yeah.
Although
well, I'm happy you watched it. Were there any points of you watching it where you're like, oh my God, is this over yet? Like, do I have to, you know, do I have to carry through? Or were you able to watch the whole movie and just get through it without complaining?
I was able to get through it without complaining, because I know to complain too. But
fair enough.
No, but it was like one of those things. Like, you know, you watch something that you're watching it, but you're like, well, you know, this, they could have did this better. They could have this better. Like, another big thing for me is I found the personality of Billy as Billy and as Shazam didn't align really. Like this is supposed to be the same person, but like he didn't seem like like look at this before. He was all like just, you know, mopey, kept to himself, but now he's friendly as Shazam. I thought he would still be a bit more rough around the edges, but not instant.
Do you have any intentions of seeing the second one?
I'm not going to go out and see it.
No, but
for the purposes of this podcast and show, I'm sure I'll check it out.
Because upon further review, that was one thing that I found to your point, and just want to add on it, is that I found for the second movie, there was a bit of a disconnect between Zachary Levi's Shazam, and I don't know the actor's name who played Billy Batson, but it almost felt like in that movie, like Billy Batson in the second one was the older one and Shazam was the younger one, so they didn't really align as much as they should have. So yeah, like as you said that, I was like, yeah, it kind of was the same for the second one, where there was a bit of a misalignment, but also for the second one, it was 4 years after the last movie was made, and so there's just a bit of.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like Zachary Levi was hired for a reason, right? He's hired to do what he did, right? He's hired to be like you hired him for this, so we want you to do that this round again because that worked for the first movie.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Chuck?
I did not watch Chuck.
No, me neither. But apparently he he was kind of goofy, oddball, and that was the role that led him to getting Shazam.
I did watch Tangled because I have kids, and he's Flynn Rider in it.
No, never watched Tangled.
Well, you don't have girls.
Nah, yeah, that's true. That is true. Okay, so are you surprising me with what is happening with next?
You have
homework?
So many movies to watch.
Oh my god, I know. I don't know which one. I feel like I have a feeling I know which one it's gonna be, but
did you finish A Quiet Place?
No.
Okay, so therefore you haven't watched the second one.
No,
you haven't caught up on the John Wick movies. Although number 4 is supposed to be like one of the best action movies ever made.
I know, and yes,
they said very rarely is the 4th installment the best installment, but that's what I've heard.
Because it's Keanu Reeves, and let's be honest, Keanu Reeves can
do no wrong.
Unbelievable.
He's the 2003 TED quote of Chris Brown. He can do no wrong.
He can't, and he's an awesome dude. He's an awesome actor. He has the best intentions with everything that he does. So yeah, good for him. He should be titled with the best action movie of all time.
Before I watch John Wick 4, I'm wondering if I should go back and watch Point Break or Speed.
Ooh, I think I want to watch Point Break.
It's been a long time since I've seen Point Break. Speed, I feel, is one you can throw on anytime.
Johnny Utah. What was his name in Speed? Do you remember?
It's Jack something, because they're always Jack in an action movie.
Johnny, Jack, Utah. Johnny Denver. Was it Johnny Denver? That sounds like it could be.
I don't know.
That could be.
IMDb is our friend tonight.
We are not going to IMDb again.
Oh, I'm going. Just because.
Movie, man. Yeah, I'll definitely.
Jack Traven. That's just as good as Johnny Denver.
100%. I bet you he came up with that name too.
Maybe.
Okay, lay it on me. I've been anticipating this all week.
I don't know. I can't think of anything that you haven't.
Oh no! Okay.
Hasn't already been said to like many times over.
I thought, okay. So you're just gonna tell me throughout the week, and then we'll surprise the good listeners. Don't want to put you on the spot. Don't give me don't do it.
I'm just trying to think. What really do you need to see that you haven't not seen already? Because you don't watch movies, you don't have the time, man.
I'll make the time. No, this is homework.
This is homework.
Yeah.
This is gonna be on the test. Fuck, man.
I'll just be really scared if it's A Quiet Place. I'm just gonna be honest.
Just finish it.
I'm just gonna be honest.
No, one thing you need to watch, because we talk about it all the time, is you have to finish Daredevil. That you have the means to. You can watch it at your leisure. It's multiple episodes.
Okay, so
just start watching season 3.
I don't know that I'll be able to finish it by next week, though.
Oh no! Just get it started.
Okay.
You have to get. You have until the new season starts
for like a month from now. Yeah.
And The Boys, catch up on The Boys.
Oh, I'm caught up on The Boys.
Oh, it's Michelle that hasn't caught up on The Boys. That's right.
I listen.
Because that's coming. You gonna watch the spinoff? Is it like VOT University or something like that?
Yeah, as long as it's not animated. Like if it's like live action.
Oh, Diabolic.
But yeah.
I actually. Do you remember Mystery Men that came out back in like '99?
Oh, with Paul Rubin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched that the other day. I'm wondering if that was like a precursor, or at least influenced what we kind of got later on, because we have Greg Kinnear's Captain Amazing, who
Ben
shows
St-
up, right?
And Ben Stiller, no?
and
Yeah,
William
yeah,
H.
yeah.
Macy, Hank Azaria. So Captain Amazing is like just decked out in sponsors, right? And he's got a PR agent. So I'm thinking like that's like The Boys, right? Or even Hancock with Will Smith.
Yeah.
Just like it was ahead of its time, really. If you think about it.
Like
And then that whole montage when they're interviewing potential like superheroes to join their team. That's straight out of Deadpool.
I remember. I remember bits and parts of that movie where was Paul Rubens' character. Did he fart?
Yeah, he was the spleen.
He was the spleen. Okay,
That's right.
And then was there someone with a spoon?
Hank Azaria played the Blue Raja, and he threw knives, forks, and spoons.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So I vaguely remember that. I remember my dad took me to see that in the theater whenever it came out. And that was the last time I saw it, but there was just bits and parts of that movie that I remember. It's almost like the Meteor Man. Remember Meteor Man? Who there's a movie. It was Meteor Man, and it was like African American actor, and he wasn't like a very popular actor, but it was. But I remember kind of cut from the same cloth as what the Mystery Men were, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Are you searching?
Blank Man?
Blank Man, yeah, that would never ever be made now. Damon Wayans would never be made now. It was pretty funny though back then. If you don't know,
it was the in Living Color Handyman.
Yeah, it was Handyman, but then it was Blank Man. Yeah, yeah, it was bad, but it was funny. Like at that time, right?
1993, The Meteor Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at this. This looks great.
Oh, it's bad. But
Robert
bad.
Townsend.
So that's who it is. Yeah, Robert Townsend.
Wow, let's cast Robert Townsend, Marla Gibbs, Eddie Griffin, James Earl Jones, Bill Cosby, Luther Vandross, Sinbad, Naughty by Nature, Cypress Hill, and Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, this was a BET production.
$20 million budget made $8 million.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're trying to create the superhero genre before it was created.
I was gonna say, you have all those people in the movie. Naughty by Nature, Cypress Hill, Big Daddy Kane, not on the soundtrack.
They're not on the soundtrack, really?
No, Michael Jackson is though.
Of course, yeah, as you would. What was there was a Bill Cosby movie where he was a superhero. I feel like he was a dad that died and he became invisible.
Ghost Dad.
Was it Ghost Dad?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's been a while since I watched Ghost Dad too.
God.
Well, if you can find Mystery Man, your homework is to watch that one. Just see if it takes you back. It's not good, but it's good.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try and see.
I think it's on Amazon. Made me laugh. Took me back.
I think that's it.
Actually, no. Scrap that. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, who was in that movie? Whereas Lawrence Fishburne was in the show.
He was the cowboy.
Yeah, he was a cowboy, but then
Phil Hartman was the mailman.
That's right. Phil Hartman.
Oh no, was the mailman? No. I'm trying to picture now, not the mailman. He the fucking like sergeant or whatever. Ranger. Like the park ranger or something. You know what we're doing. Right back to
That's what we do. I mean,
that's right. Pee-wee's Playhouse. Captain Carl. And Lawrence Fishburne was Cowboy Curtis.
I remember Cowboy Curtis, yeah.
Yeah, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That was directed by Tim Burton.
Yeah, it makes sense. I buy that.
I think it was his first studio movie, and then that led to Beetlejuice, which then led to Batman.
Was that the one with the bike?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I remember the don't know the guy's name, the actor's name, but in Teen Wolf, remember the Teen Wolf, his high school buddy that was the big porker that was on the team, and he was also
he was like the rich kid in this.
Yeah, and he's also in remember he was in there.
He's like his rival.
You get those like the group of actors that are in 80s movies for that genre, for that age, you know, and he was one of them, right? Like he fit into many different movies. So
I mean, I haven't watched Teen Wolf in forever. Maybe
that should be an upcoming review. I love that movie. You know what? I've seen that movie more recently than I have Part 2 with Jason Bateman, which was his like big break, if you remember.
I do. It's not as good.
So I'm guessing you've seen it before or sooner than you have the first one, right? Or more recently, rather?
No, like there was a time when they showed them a lot. They usually show those type of things around Halloween. But yeah, I have probably seen Teen Wolf 2 more recently than I have Teen Wolf. I never watched like the MTV series that they did.
I smell homework.
Though I'm pretty sure our homework was to watch Gotham Knights pilot episode, so we're set for the week.
Yeah, okay. When
I'll get you. It's out now.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's do that and just
take one
just bash on it for 45
next week,
minutes.
Shit over on Gotham Knights, and then I'll have something official.
And then you'll just surprise me.
Surprise you. Yeah. Yeah.
So for us worrying that it was going to be a pretty thin episode, I think it went longer than it normally does. So yeah,
it does.
Yeah, it does.
It all started with the Dollarama Drama.
The Dollarama Drama. I think there's your title for the episode. So
perfect. I just have to remember that I said it at 1 hour and 47 minutes. So
That's right.
But I forget what I called it. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up.
Are you going to do the outros or I'll do the outros? Oh, thank you everyone for listening. We would encourage you to go to all of your podcast aggregators and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at Open Collar Pod. I'm Steve. That's Cory. Keep it geeky. And for all of the listeners or viewers out there that were watching us live, thank you, first of all, for dedicating almost 2 hours to watching us talk about nonsense, which is awesome. If you have questions, let us know. You know, put them in. Let us know what you have. But for that, episode 103.
103.
103.
Straight.
And keep it geeky.
Oh,
see how I tried,
yeah.
tried to rhyme it. And it